the most common mistakes you shouldn't make in Fortnite. Yes, Fortnite is super fun, but it comes with heartbreaks, especially when you make a super dumb move that either gets you off the game completely or erases a huge chunk of your progress. So, how can you stop yourself from making those costly mistakes? Welcome to Goat Gaming. In today's video, we'll be giving exclusive insights into those common mistakes that you should never make in Fortnite. We're all about helping you become a better gamer, so be sure to stick around until the end. And now that we've got that out of the way, let's get right to the video. Number 6. Don't take out an opponent with a moving vehicle. Taking out your opponent with a moving vehicle always looks easy, but it is not when you consider the odds of taking them out using this method. For most starters, moving from one location to another looks pretty easy behind the wheel. Most beginners would rather rely on this to take out their opponents. But if you must go pro on Fortnite, it is high time you step up and bank less on vehicle manslaughter, because it is one of the easy ways a smart opponent can take you out and return you to the lobby. Some players may argue that attacking an opponent with a moving vehicle is a bit easy compared to taking them out with guns. But in the real sense, driving a vehicle towards your opponent only alerts them of your presence on the battlefield. So instead of trying to ram them over, would suggest you drop from the vehicle, take your aim at your opponent, and shoot. This exposes you to lesser risk compared to using the vehicle to execute a kill. Driving toward an opponent with good aiming skills can end your game faster than you can imagine. Number 5. Not planning for inventory ahead of time. Imagine you are on the battlefield without enough ammo to charge or defend yourself against your enemies, or not having a concrete health plan in case you need medical attention for yourself or any member of your squad. That's a terrible situation you don't want to find yourself in. But a mere wish is not enough. You need to have a plan A and plan B if you must survive in Fortnite, either as an individual player or in a squad. Most people make the mistake of trying to arrange their inventory or drinks when the battle heat is on them, which is totally wrong. Planning your inventory ahead will help you in every situation, especially during a tough gun duel. To ensure you don't run out of drinks or ammo, the best you can do is to always prepare ahead. In Fortnite, you never can tell what is lying ahead of you in the game. Number 4. Locked inside the box with your opponent. This is a common scenario in Fortnite where you find yourself locked in the room with your opponent and a roof trap above your head. The beauty of Fortnite is that nobody has the monopoly to control the room. The fact that you are locked up in a room does not mean there is no way out of the situation. However, what will determine whether you are going to exit the room safely is the escape route. Now, this is where most people make huge mistakes that end their time in the game. For amateurs, what comes to their mind at the moment is to shoot through the ramp or break the sidewall. Well, that tactics may work against an inexperienced player, but when you are up against a pro, you need something better than that. So instead of ramming the roof to worsen the situation, what you need is to look down. That is the best way to escape without losing a pound of flesh. Look through the floor and edit it. The moment the edit goes through, you are going to drop down, which is most likely going to be your floor. But if it is not your floor, hit through the walls, and you can be sure your opponent will not be fast enough to replace it. Henceforth, if you ever find yourself in an awkward situation or boxed into a corner with a roof trap above your head, don't panic. Just look at the floor and edit it. Once this is done, you can safely drop to the floor and convert the room to yours, where you can break your way through. Number 3. Dropping off in the hot zone. Fortnite is an exciting game, and for most players, the joy of playing sometimes overshadows the way they start out on Fortnite. One of the easiest ways to get knocked off without taking out any opponent is to drop off the battleship and land straight into the hot zone. To avoid this terrible mistake, always pay attention to the positioning of your opponents on the island. Accuracy is better than speed. This means you don't just drop straight into the game for the fun of it. Before landing on the island, always be on the lookout for safe spots, such as areas where you can have shelter when your opponents start raining down their bullets on you. So, avoid the error of landing in the open when gliding. Apart from not rushing to jump off the battleship, another thing you must keep in mind while gliding is to drop into the open, because doing that makes you a soft target, and you don't want to be an early bird that quits the stage too early without a fight. To be on the safe side, always target to land on a house. The best position to land on a house is the rooftop of a single house, instead of landing in the open where you don't have anything preventing you from the awaiting zombies or snipers already watching your movement right from the moment you start gliding. Number 2. Not harvesting on time. Whenever you are playing Fortnite, always remember that you are not the only player on the battlefield. This means some of the items you are trying to harvest are also being targeted by other players. To get your defense mechanism up, you need to harvest super fast whenever the opportunity arises. Slow harvest can get you kicked out of the game before you even notice. With enough harvest, you can start building and developing complex plays. The implication of not having the right equipment can lead to your elimination in the game. If you are to harvest fast, you don't need to exert all your energy to achieve the task quickly. Without applying the proper harvesting technique, you may end up harvesting little than what you anticipate. To harvest quickly, hit whatever thing you want to harvest, and after the first smack, a small circle will pop up, which should be your main target. Immediately, you see that small circle. Ensure you are directing your hit towards the spot where the circle appears. However, there are some items that require just one hit to harvest, like cars. But if the item you are trying to harvest requires more hits, then you have to stay consistent with a circle spot to reap your harvest. Doing this will prevent you from making the mistake some amateur players make on Fortnite whenever they are trying to harvest a mat. This method can also be applied when pulling down a wall. Hitting the small circle spot makes a huge difference in the time taken to pull down an opponent's wall when box fighting, where you need to pull down your opponent's wall to erect your own faster. Failure at pulling down your opponent's wall can influence whether you are going to stay on the game or get killed. Number 1. Failing to knock down the enemy fortress. If you are familiar with war movies, or you often make out time to read about wars that have taken place in the past, you will notice that the primary target for the guys on both sides is to take out the center of gravity of their opponents. Killing scores of your enemy soldiers can slow down your advancement in the Fortnite game. But if you must inflict damage on your opponent, you need to take down their fortress, because that is where they draw their strength. In Fortnite, one common mistake players make is to allow their enemies to rebuild their fortress after a heavy bombardment and strengthen their base. This is one extreme mistake that can ruin your progress in the game, and you must avoid that if you plan on gaining supremacy from all directions. Our advice is that once you storm your enemy base, take out their fortress by targeting their bases, because that is one of the ways you can make them bleed. That wraps it up, guys. What is the biggest mistake you have ever made while playing Fortnite? And were you able to fix it? Let us know right there in the comment section, and we'll be sure to drop our thoughts on it. Until then, see you in the next video.